The morning that changed everything for Layla Hart began with a red light that wouldn't turn green. She sat in her 10-year-old Honda Civic, fingers drumming anxiously on the steering wheel as traffic crawled through downtown Phoenix. Her hair, which she usually curled before work, was tied in a messy bun she'd styled at the last red light. Her iced latte was tipping dangerously in the cup holder, and the sun was already burning through the windshield. Arizona mornings didn't wait for anyone, not even at 7:55 a.m. Layla knew she was cutting it close, but close wasn't unusual. She worked at Larkbridge Media for 3 years, long enough to understand that the office ran on caffeine, deadlines, and the occasional panic attack, not punctuality to the exact minute. Most days she arrived by 8:00 a.m. sharp, maybe a minute or two late here and there when traffic jammed or the coffee lines stretched to the door. But she always stayed later than she needed to. She covered extra shifts. She mentored the interns. She answered emails on weekends. She had even worked on Thanksgiving from her mother's dining table. She was a good employee. Everyone knew it. Everyone except her boss. Marcus Hale, 46, polished, overly groomed, obsessed with order and rules like they were the 10 Commandments carved personally for him. He loved his suits more than he loved small talk, and he loved control more than he loved fairness. His reputation in the company was legendary, brilliant, ambitious, and as warm as iced steel. When Layla finally parked and rushed through the glass doors, her smartwatch vibrated. 8:05 a.m. 5 minutes late. She jogged through the hall, flashed her badge, and slipped into her department, hopping no one noticed. But Marcus was waiting. He stood near her desk, arms crossed, his expression carved in the same stone-cold judgment he wore during monthly performance reviews. "You're late," he said, voice quiet but sharp. "Only 5 minutes," Layla replied softly, still catching her breath. "There was traffic on." "I don't want excuses." Her coworkers froze like rabbits afraid to move. No one ever wanted to witness Marcus in confrontation mode. "This is the 3rd time this month," he said. "By a couple of minutes," she whispered. Marcus didn't blink. "You know the rules." Her stomach dropped. "Marcus, please, you know my work. You know I give everything to this job. And yet, you can't respect the simplest expectation." The unfairness stung, hot and bitter. "Everyone comes in a few minutes late sometimes." "Everyone is not you," he said, staring at her like she was a glitch in his perfect system. That was the moment she realized something. Marcus didn't dislike tardiness. He disliked her. "Come with me," he said. She followed him into his office. Glass walls, expensive minimalist furniture, and the faint smell of leather and expensive cologne. He closed the door. "I'm terminating your employment," he said. The words slammed into her like a punch she didn't see coming. "You're firing me," she repeated, stunned. "Over 5 minutes. This is for continued disregard for company policy." "That's ridiculous." "That's my decision." Shock turned to anger. "You can't just do this because you're in a bad mood." "I can, actually." Her chest tightened. She felt tears threaten, but she swallowed them back. She refused to break in front of him. "What about my gratuity?" she finally asked. "I've been here 3 years." "You forfeited that by violating termination policy." Her voice cracked. "Marcus, that is months of my life. That's my savings." "It's company policy," he said coldly, though she knew damned well he was interpreting it however he pleased. "This isn't right," she whispered. "Life isn't always right," he said, sliding a termination packet across the desk. "Security will escort you out." It felt like the world collapsed around her. 5 minutes late, 3 years of loyalty erased with the flick of his pen. As she walked past her coworkers, people she had laughed with, eaten lunch with, helped through stressful deadlines, the shame wrapped around her like a heavy coat she couldn't lift off. She didn't even get to clear her desk. Security walked her straight to the elevator like she was a threat. When the doors closed, tears finally slid down her cheeks. No warning, no compassion, no gratuity. He took everything from her because he could. But she didn't know yet. She was going to take everything back. With interest. And the world would know Marcus Hale as the boss who fired the wrong woman. Layla didn't go home right away. She sat in her car in the hot parking lot, both hands on the steering wheel, tears drying on her cheeks. Her phone buzzed with messages from coworkers, some shocked, some scared to say too much, all of them apologizing for not stepping in. But no one dared cross Marcus. Her mother called twice. Her best friend Cass sent 10 messages in all caps asking what happened. But Layla couldn't bring herself to answer yet. Shock held her pinned, breath shallow, mind replaying the moment Marcus said the words. "I'm terminating your employment." Outside, the office building shimmered in the heat like a mirage, cold, corporate, heartless. She had given that place more energy than she gave herself. And Marcus discarded her like a defective stapler. She put the car in drive and pulled away from the building that had swallowed 3 years of her life. At home, she showered, drank lukewarm lemonade, and finally collapsed on the sofa. Cass arrived 20 minutes later, bursting through the door like a storm. "Tell me everything," she demanded, tossing her purse aside. Layla recounted the whole awful morning. Cass's jaw dropped. "He fired you for 5 minutes." "Yes. And your gratuity, that's a legal right." "He claims it's policy." Cass folded her arms. "Or he's being a petty tyrant." Layla laughed weakly. "Yeah." Cass leaned closer. "So what's next?" Layla sighed. "I don't know, I have rent, bills, my car needs a new battery. I don't have savings without that payout." There was a moment of silence. Cass's eyes narrowed. "Then we get him." Layla blinked. "Cass." "No, I'm serious. That man has been targeting you for months. Everyone sees it. You didn't do anything wrong." "I don't want drama," Layla muttered. "You already got drama," Cass threw her hands up. "He humiliated you. He cheated you. And that company runs on so many shady processes it could qualify as a circus." Layla sighed again, but the spark in Cass's voice stirred something inside her, something that felt dangerously close to fury. "It's not that simple," Layla said. Cass smirked. "Actually, it is. You know why? Because you have something he doesn't." "What?" "Friends inside the company," Cass said. "People who want him taken down just as badly." Layla sat up straighter. Cass lowered her voice. "I heard something last month that might help, something big." Layla felt her pulse pick up. "What?" Cass glanced at the door, even though it was closed. "Marcus is being audited internally. There's talk of misreported expenses, some major misconduct stuff." "What?" Layla asked, stunned. "Yep, and rumor says the board is looking for concrete evidence before they act." Layla felt her anger slowly reassembling into something sharper, more focused. "And you think I can find it?" Cass raised a brow. "Who knows his patterns better than you? Who spent 3 years managing his files? Who saw things his own assistant did? If anyone can sink him, it's you." "But I don't have access." Cass grinned. "Not anymore, but someone could." The implication hit instantly. "Cass, no. I can't ask anyone to risk their job." "You wouldn't have to ask," Cass said. "They want this. Half the office has suffered under his ego. He fires people impulsively, steals credit, manipulates reports. You're just the latest victim." Layla stared at her hands. "Even if someone helped, what would I do? Break into his emails? Dig through restricted files?" Cass shrugged. "Or expose his unethical behavior publicly, or take it to HR and the board, or blow it into a full corporate scandal." Layla exhaled, overwhelmed. "I'm not a vengeful person." Cass held her chin. "You don't have to be. You just have to be someone who knows her worth." Later that night, Layla lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Cass's words looping in her mind. "He fired the wrong woman." She replayed every meeting, every cold remark, every time Marcus brushed off her contributions, every time he micromanaged her like she couldn't think by herself, every time he took advantage of her silence. Her anger simmered deeper. And then the next morning, her phone buzzed. A text from Danny, her closest friend at the office. Danny, I heard everything. He had no right. I'm so angry. Call me. I can help. Layla called immediately. Danny didn't waste time. I'm in. In for what? Whatever you need. And just so you know, Marcus has been doctoring numbers on the department budget. I've seen the drafts. I know where he hides most of his files. Layla felt a slow, powerful shift inside her, fear turning to clarity. Danny, this could blow up your job. It's worth it, Danny said. He's ruined too many lives. You're going to be the last. Layla swallowed. What exactly can you access? Danny hesitated. Everything. That was the moment Layla knew revenge wasn't just possible. It was inevitable. Not the petty kind, not the impulsive kind Marcus practiced. No, hers would be strategic, intelligent, devastating. A career-ending correction, delivered with precision. She would expose him. She would reclaim her dignity. She would take back every ounce of power he stole. And she would do it the right way. The legal way. The undeniable way. The way that would make Marcus Hale regret the day he ever underestimated a woman who was only 5 minutes late.
For the first time in days, Layla woke with purpose. Clear, sharp, determined purpose. Cass had already laid out coffee and a notebook on the kitchen table, like she expected a full strategy meeting. Danny called at 8. I'm sending you something, she whispered. Do not open it anywhere public. Within seconds, a secure Google Drive link popped up. Encrypted, Danny added. He can't trace it. Layla clicked it open and stared. Dozens of files, scans, spreadsheets, email screenshots, budget drafts, travel expense logs. Some pages had handwritten notes in Marcus's perfect, arrogant handwriting. And all of it pointed to one thing. Fraud. This wasn't minor misconduct. This was thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in falsified reimbursements, personal purchases billed to the company, and numbers manipulated to hide it all. Oh my God, Layla breathed. Cass peeked over her shoulder. Girl, he is done. Layla felt her heart race. This is real evidence. Evidence he deserves to be crushed by, Cass said. Layla took a deep breath. This has to go through the right channels, legal channels. Cass nodded. So where do we start? Layla knew exactly where. The company's board of directors. Not HR. Marcus practically owned HR through fear and manipulation, but the board, they actually had power. And more importantly, they hated being embarrassed. She drafted a full report. Clean, precise, professional. She attached every file Danny sent and added context from her own 3 years of experience. Before she hit send, she whispered, for every person you bullied, for every career you damaged, for every unfair firing. Click. The message went straight to the board. Next, she submitted the report anonymously to an internal compliance hotline, then to the company's legal department, and finally, to a confidential business ethics watchdog that specialized in corporate fraud. Cass watched with a proud, wicked grin. He's going to scream. He's going to implode, Layla corrected. They sat silently for a moment. Then her phone buzzed. Danny. She answered immediately. Layla, Danny whispered, breathless. The board called an emergency meeting. Marcus was summoned 10 minutes ago. They look pissed. Layla felt a rush of adrenaline. What's happening? Half the directors are demanding access to his computer. I've never seen them this angry. Layla's breath caught. Oh my God. And Danny paused. Marcus knows something's wrong. He looked like he swallowed his tongue. Cass burst out laughing. What's he doing now? Layla asked. Locked in his office, arguing, sweating, and hold on. Footsteps, muffled voices, raised tones. Oh wow, Danny breathed. Security just walked in. They're escorting him to the executive conference room. Layla felt her pulse skip. That's how he walked you out, Cass said softly. Feels poetic, doesn't it? More texts from Danny came in a rush. Danny, they confronted him with everything. Danny, he's denying it, but they have the files. Danny, the CFO looks like she wants to strangle him. Danny, this is amazing. Minutes crawled by. Then, Danny, Layla, he's been suspended pending investigation, effective immediately. Layla exhaled, shaky but triumphant. Suspension meant only one thing. The board believed the evidence. And the evidence was airtight. But it wasn't over, not yet. 2 days later, Danny texted again. Danny, he's out, fired. They found more files on his work laptop, much worse stuff. Danny, they're talking legal action. Danny, he's finished. Layla sat in her quiet apartment, tears filling her eyes, not of sadness, not even of relief, but of release. Everything he took from her, every ounce of humiliation, every cruel decision. She had taken all of it and transformed it into justice. Cass hugged her from behind. You did it. Layla wiped her face. We did it. And now, Cass said, you need a job worthy of someone who just took down a corporate tyrant. As if fate was eavesdropping, her email pinged. A message from the board. They wanted to speak with her, privately, about her concerns and experience as a former employee. The CEO himself joined the call. He apologized for her treatment, for the wrongful termination, for the gratuity they were legally and morally obligated to pay. Then he said, we would like to offer you your position back, with a promotion and salary increase, effective immediately. You were one of our highest-rated employees, and we clearly failed to protect you. Layla didn't even hesitate. I appreciate the offer, she said calmly, but I won't be returning. The CEO blinked. May I ask why? Because I know my worth now, she replied, and I'm going somewhere that sees it from the start. They wired her gratuity plus additional compensation for wrongful dismissal. Enough to pay rent for months, enough to breathe, enough to rebuild. 2 weeks later, Layla accepted a job at a thriving marketing firm with better pay, flexible hours, and a boss who respected her. On her last morning of unemployment, she and Cass drove past Larkbridge Media. A now hiring department manager sign hung in the window. Cass smirked. Think he's still crying? Layla laughed. Probably. She looked at the building, cold glass, quiet, shaken at the core, and felt nothing but freedom. Marcus fired her over 5 minutes. She dismantled his entire career. That was the math of revenge. Not rage, not chaos. Precision. Truth. Justice. And the unshakable strength of a woman he should never have underestimated.